Before this video begins, I just want to preface that initially it was just about how older games are now bringing me comfort, and then it kind of went into like how video games in general bring comfort and how video games mean more to us than what we actually really realize. So with that being said, this is a long video, it's all over the place, there's no timestamps, I go back and forth a lot, so if you want to enjoy this video in its tip-top form, maybe just do something else in the background while listening to it. But with that being said, let's get started. So I was just sitting here thinking about things, and I realized that as I'm getting older game series, whether I played them casually or if I'm just getting into them right now, as I age, they bring a strange amount of comfort. Like right now is a very strange time in my life. I mean, this is gonna be a very personal video, so we're gonna be going into personal, deep, dark topics right now. I'm 27 years old. I'll be 28 in November. I made this YouTube channel when I was 18 years old. Over the years, millions of people have watched me. You've watched me grow up, you've watched me turn into a man, you've watched me in my darkest moments, and you've watched me in my best moments. So my audience, the people that watch me, I sort of considered you like an extension of myself, if that makes sense. But obviously I'm just talking to a camera and you watch it, so you're like the voices in my head in a way. But especially those of you who've been around a very long time, you know that I'm American. I was born and raised in Kentucky. However, I no longer live in the United States, I live in El Paso. And right now it is a very weird turning point in time because my journey here is coming to an end and I'm going back to my home country. But with that brings a lot of emotions. I'm leaving new friends. I had to learn Spanish to live here. And especially right now, as we're in October, we're entering the fall, we're entering the winter, the holiday months. Here in El Paso, we don't get that. We get summer all year. So around this time every single year, which led to the point of this video, I've noticed that I'm going back to older games. Primarily over the last little bit, I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X and Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. And yes, these are remasters that just came out this year, but these are older games that I am finding comfort in right now at this very moment. They remind me of a better time and place. When Mario Galaxy first came out, I didn't play it, but you know, that era of the Wii, I was on the PlayStation 3. I didn't have a Wii. I did not have a Wii as a child. I didn't get one till like, well, I didn't get it, my family got it. It was around 2008, 2009. I remember we would play Wii Sports in the living room. That was about all we would ever get through with it. We never really got like hyper extensive games for the Wii. I didn't start playing Wii games until I got a Wii U when I was a little bit older. But my first experience with Xenoblade, like most people, was through the Nintendo 3DS. And then of course I got Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. And it just kind of felt like a void, I guess. And then now going back through these games, they're making me feel those same emotions that I had as a kid. Like, it's very strange because Mario Galaxy, again, I didn't play it. I watched somebody play it on YouTube way back when. And I've watched countless speedrunners do it. However, the sounds, the music in this game, it takes me back. Obviously, I can't play it because Nintendo will copyright this video because they're a bunch of a-holes. But there's one specific song that happens in the fourth planet, or yeah, the fourth world in like I think it's the fourth biome. It's the desert one. And that took me back. That took me hardcore back. And it just like, I don't know, it just reminded me of fall time coming around, getting on my skateboard, going to the track. Because where we live, where we grew up, we don't live there anymore, so I'll just show you a picture here of it. There was a full-size concrete track right behind our house. So my brothers and I would take our skateboards there, and that was like our skating ground. That was our biking ground. That was our running ground. That was just where we did everything, right up and down there. In my lifetime, just skateboarding circles around there, I've probably skated thousands of miles. But this took me back to that happy place. And it's not just older games, it's happening with newer games from older series right now. Like I'm working through Digimon Story Time Stranger right now. And this is taking me back to being a kid. No, I did not exactly fall in love with Digimon because I was normal, I was a Pokemon kid. But I did watch a lot of Digimon. Like, let's be real, if you were alive in the early, mid, and late 2000s, you knew the anime schedule by heart. Like, you knew every time it come on Cartoon Network, it would go something like, you know, Pokemon, Digimon, Naruto, One Piece, and then the goated animes would start. You'd start seeing Bleach as soon as it hit 11 p.m., Dragon Ball Z, and everything else. So I watched a lot of Digimon, although I just didn't really care about it that much. But now playing this, it's reminding me of those good times as a child. And it's like, huh, that's interesting because this didn't mean that much to me as a kid, but now as an adult, it's important now. But the big thing that brought on the idea for this video that made me realize this is I'm currently working through Pokemon Legends ZA. And this one, I don't know what it is, but it reminds me of Diamond and Pearl. I'm just having the same amount of fun I had on this right now as I did a kid, literally at this point almost 20 years ago. This is the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game since Pokemon Sun and Moon. And if you've been on this channel since the early days, because I made this channel very shortly after, or shortly before Sun and Moon came out. Sun and Moon, I believe, was 2016 November, and this channel was March of 2016. So it's been a long time. But I remember I would take Pokemon Sun and Moon with me to school every single day. I was that kid in college that was just sitting there in the corner playing Pokemon Sun until I made another friend who was the kid in the corner playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it was, man, good times, good times. I was gonna make a joke about it, but honestly, looking back in time, yes, we were kind of like the stereotype kids, but it was good times. It was good times. So like every little thing that's going on in Pokemon Legends right now is just kind of being a feel-good moment. And then there's other things that's happening right now for other games that I've been playing recently that's just like, oh my god, this is so relatable right now. Like I just finished replaying Yakuza: The Man Who Erased His Name. The too long didn't read non-spoiler version of it. Kiryu had to leave his family and just basically go far away for a reason that I will not dive into. And the game's kind of him dealing with those emotions of being super far away and just kind of watching his family from an outside perspective. And honestly, that's how I feel right now. And I just related to that game so much playing through it every single time. Game came out in 2023 and I've just been playing it on and off here and there a couple times. And it has ultimately brought me to this point where it's like, wow, I relate a lot to Kiryu. I really do. All my family is back in the United States. However, I'm down here in El Paso all alone. If I go out to the store, I don't understand a word that's coming out of anybody's mouth. Their accents are too thick, or it's because my Spanish just isn't good enough. El Paso is a very violent, nasty place. I got scars all over my body because of it. It's a very bad place. But for whatever reason, seeing a video game character like Kiryu struggle with similar things that I have struggled with over the last several years, it's brought comfort in a way that I can't really explain. And yes, I understand this video is going to be very rambly, and I have no idea how long it's going to be. It's going to be a long one, I can tell you that right now. But it's interesting because I've grown up with Kiryu. The first Yakuza game I played was obviously Yakuza 1. I rented it from Movie Gallery. If it wasn't the week it came out, then it was the week after it came out. Because, for context, because I have a lot of viewers on this channel, I think it's something like 44% of you guys are not American. So in the United States, you probably knew about this from stereotypes and stuff, but way back when in the 90s and the 2000s, we had video game and movie rental services such as Blockbuster, Movie Gallery, Hollywood Video, etc. I had Hollywood Video. Hollywood Video and Movie Gallery was kind of the ones that were like the most frequent where I lived. We had Blockbuster, but Blockbuster was kind of like the rich people rental service. So we would primarily go to Movie Gallery because Movie Gallery was like $1 to rent a game for a week. So my grandpa kind of had this thing with me where I had to be bribed to go to school because I hated school so much. Like it was so bad. Like every single Friday, and yes, I did say it was kind of like the rich kid thing, but when you think about the context and the way the United States was under President Bill Clinton and George Bush, how much better the world was at that point in time, money was different. So we were still like poor, but in today's context, we would be very wealthy. So every single Friday would come, I would get a McDonald's meal, I would go to GameStop, Walmart, and Movie Gallery, right? So I remember this particular time when I had rented Yakuza, I didn't see any games at GameStop that I wanted. And it wasn't like I was getting like the expensive $40 PlayStation 2 games. I was getting like the $5, $10 games. And then I would get a toy from Walmart. Usually it would be like a Max Steel or a Rescue Hero, something like that. Or sometimes an Imaginext. If you're unfamiliar with Imaginext, it was basically Lego for those of us that couldn't keep things out of our mouth. And then this one fateful day, there was nothing there, of course. So I went to Movie Gallery at the end because I would always rent a movie to play or to watch as I was eating my food or something. And there was Yakuza there. I was like, what is this? I saw this big dragon on his back, and I still remember this moment to this day. It's low-key racist, but I remember because the Jackie Chan cartoon was going on at the same time. And at this point in time, I could only speak English. I hadn't really gotten that far in my Japanese learning journey. So for those of you that don't know, in the part of the East Coast that I'm from, when you start elementary school, you get thrown into a foreign language. I got thrown into Japanese. My youngest brother got thrown into Chinese, or Mandarin, I should say, and then so forth. Everyone just kind of gets thrown into a different language. So I very quickly, and still to this day, I study Japanese, but at this point in time, my Japanese wasn't like that. So I saw it and I was like, this is Jackie Chan. It's so so racist looking back at it. Like, but I was a kid, so it doesn't count as racism. It just counts as stupidity. So I guide it, and then I take it home, and then I remember, okay, this is cool, and then like 20 minutes in, sexual assault and murder, and I'm like, what is this? This is not Jackie Chan. So then because of that, I would go on the internet. Oh my god, dude. There was a forum for Yakuza way back then. I forget what it was called, but it was a specific website that you would go to talk about the Yakuza series. And it was kind of a branch of one of the Sega specific websites. But back then, like Reddit and stuff wasn't a thing. So everything had a forum. Everything had its own website. And this was one of them. So I, over time, ended up learning, wow, I've talked so long that things have decided they're gonna die down. Where's my controller to turn this back on? I apologize for the dimming. So I would eventually get Yakuza 1 as an actual version of the game, not just a rental that I could play forever and ever. And then I eventually found out that there were other games similar to this, like Jet Li's Rise to Honor, and then eventually Yakuza 2, which was Japanese exclusive, which Yakuza 1 initially was as well. Yakuza 2 didn't come out to the US until I want to say like 2008, 2009. However, that is what kickstarted my journey into learning Japanese at a master level. For those of you that don't know, right as I was about to graduate college, the pandemic hit. I had gotten accepted into the Japanese English teaching program. So there's a timeline out there where I live in Japan now. And truth be told, I probably still will end up living out there at some point. But the reason I bring that up too is I'm also currently playing through Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I'm about to start the Yakuza Hawaii one as soon as I finish this. So just following these journeys of these older games, it's just taking me back to a point in time where I felt better, where I was happier, where life was better. And right now, specifically, as I prepare to return home, it's just like, wow, I really made it through quite possibly the worst point of my life. So all that brought together at the end of the day to say, as I'm getting older, I am finding an endless amount of comfort in games that are not only, from my childhood, but games that are from series from my childhood that I either didn't get into or just, have always played, like Yakuza, for example. So as I'm playing through Digimon right now, I'm just noticing all this random things, and it's just like, wow, this makes me feel like a kid again. Discovering things that I didn't know, or discovering things that I had forgotten. For example, over the summer, I started streaming a little bit, but it's way too hot in Texas to even think about streaming. And I was playing through Jak 2. And I was getting hit with all these different nostalgic moments because on this YouTube channel, early days, Jak and Daxter was really big for it. I streamed through Jak 2 probably 15 different times over the course of 2 years. And now that was both emulating it on the PCSX2 and then again later on with the PlayStation 4 port. So that just brought a whole lot of nostalgia waves into me, which eventually subsided, and then I went on to other things. But this entire year, I've been going back playing older games like Suikoden 1 and 2, for example. Finished it on Nintendo Switch, finished it on Nintendo Switch 2, and you know what? Thanks to the Amazon Prime sales, I now have it again on the PlayStation 5, and I'm about to play through it again on the PlayStation 5 as soon as I finish Pokemon. So it's just kind of coming full circle, replaying the same games that bring comfort. But you know what's interesting about that too? As I'm starting to approach the end date of leaving El Paso and going back to the United States, I'm starting to go back through games. I wanted to replay games that I was playing right before I moved here. I moved here in June of 2022, but shortly before that, a little game called Dying Light 2 came out, and I played it originally on the Xbox Series X because at the time it was significantly more powerful than the PlayStation 5. Obviously the PS5 Pro is more powerful now, but at the time I was playing through this and I 100%ed this game. And this game brought me a lot of comfort as I was going through the emotions of do I really want to leave my home country to move to El Paso? Do I really want to do that? Ultimately, I brute forced it and I did move, but now as I'm getting ready to go back, once again, thanks to Amazon Prime sales, I got me a brand new copy of Dying Light 2 on the PlayStation 5, and I'm about to restart this. But the crazy part is I'm going to restart this about a month before my official end date, just so that I can go through those same emotions that I went through right before I moved here right before I leave here. And I know the name of this video was something along the lines of, as I get older, games mean more to me. But really, as I'm thinking about it right now, it's just like, all these games have a place in my heart, a place in my personal history. And it's interesting because a lot of people look at your video game collections, and obviously I have upwards of 2,000 some odd games. A lot of people look at it and it's like, hey, like this is clutter, this is hoarding. But for me, it's just like every single game has a different meaning. Every single game has a different history and memory attached to it. I'm not gonna go into it because that'll be saved for the pickups video, but this is all the games that I've bought in October of 2025 so far, and we're only on the 21st day of the year, or of the month. And every single one of these games have a very strong point now in my physical history. Like, just to use this game as an example, haven't got a chance to play it yet, but this just came out about, well, actually I don't know when it came out, but I just got it about 2 weeks ago. It's Choo Choo Charles. It's just some goofy little Thomas the Train horror game. But what's interesting about this now for me is the memory that I have associated to it. It's now going to the Cielo Vista Mall, walking around, getting coffee, getting frustrated that the apple macchiato was not at Starbucks. Apparently that's a United States exclusive. Pissed me off. You know what, that's a rant for another day. And then checking this out at GameStop, where the little woman at the front desk, I don't know if it's because she didn't speak English or not, but I had to sit there. No quiero el insuranzo. I don't know what insurance is in Spanish, but I was just saying, no quiero el insuranzo. No quiero, no quiero. And I was pointing to it on the checkout thing. It's like, no quiero, no quiero, no quiero. And then she said, oh, okay. And then she puts on the Pro Rewards membership, which I don't have and I don't want it. And once again, no quiero el Pro Rewards. No quiero el Pro Rewards. Like, she frustrated me so bad. And here was my girlfriend sitting next to me, who, mind you, is a full-blown Mexican. She speaks Spanish. She's 5 foot flat. She is as Mexican as it gets. She was not helping me. She was letting me fend for myself. No quiero el Pro Rewards. She was not helping me at all. I got frustrated. And it's just, now looking back at it, like, I was very angry in the moment. But right now, it's just like, that's like a funny core memory that I have now because of it. And then right after that, we went to Long John Silver's, which, again, you know, I'm from Kentucky, and Long John Silver's is a Kentucky restaurant, and I find comfort in stuff like that, going to restaurants that are here, that are in my home country, that are in my homeland specifically. And it was cool because there was another American that was working there, and, you know, living in El Paso, it's very rare to see other Americans, unless it's like on the military base or something, but I'm no longer a part of Fort Bliss, so it's like I don't see them very often. So I saw him, and he was asking about my tattoos, which, those of you that don't know, this is a combination of my heritage. If you aren't aware, my mother's father is Cherokee, and my father's mother is Hawaiian. So this is a mixture of the two. So he was asking me about a lot of these patterns and what they meant, and we were able to have a nice, good, full-fledged conversation. And then, lo and behold, turns out he's from North Carolina, which is also, you know, if you're not aware of like the whole Cherokee people, so we originate in modern day Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. A lot of people today that have the heritage, they're kind of like me, where it's like it's your grandparent or great grandparent or something. It's very rare that it's going to be modern time. Like, even if you look at like the tribal affiliation, like the people who are genetically Cherokee no longer lead the tribe. But there are so many people who have this heritage that when you see each other and you kind of notice it and you bring it up. So the first thing he noticed was this pattern, so these two patterns right here. And it's like, hey, I know those patterns. And then he pulled up his arm and there was those patterns. There's like, hey. So it was just kind of cool. So now that is a core memory that's associated with Choo Choo Charles, going back to how all these games in my collection, why I'm looking over here, my games are in the actual game room. This is just the computer room now. All that stuff to say, games are more powerful than we really realize that they are. And then there are still games that are not even story-based single-player games that remind me of the good old days. For example, I'll go back and I'll play Fortnite, or I'll play Call of Duty, or I'll play something like that. And it reminds me of growing up, playing with my friends on Discord until like 5, 6 in the morning, getting in random conversations of these random conspiracy theories. And that's something I miss. But obviously, you know, in the United States, they are about 3 hours ahead of where I am now. So it just doesn't work out to be able to play games together anymore because everybody's so busy. Like, by the time I get done with work, I've gone running, I've gone to the gym. Like, it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, everyone's getting ready to go to bed. So we don't really have time to talk and be with each other anymore. And it's the same thing with my brothers. Like, we're scattered everywhere now. Like, I'm down here in Mexico. One of my brothers is still back in Kentucky. Another brother lives in Washington. We are scattered across the country now. But then I'll go and play games like Tony Hawk, for example, and it takes me back to being a child and, you know, just all of us sitting there playing horse together, or free skate or tag or something on Tony Hawk games. I have always been a big proponent of finding something that you love and making it, if it's not going to be your life, then at least making it something that's very, very important to you. For me, that has always and always will be video games. I mean, even look right here. Like, this isn't a gaming computer, for example. This is just a MacBook Pro, Max, Ultra, Mac. I paid $4,000 for this fucking thing and it still freezes on DaVinci Resolve. And you know what? That's not a Mac problem because Final Cut and Adobe works perfect. It is a DaVinci Resolve problem because DaVinci Resolve is literally made by fucking monkeys. Like, I'm convinced it's made by monkeys and AI at this point. But like, my entire like thing here, my background, my everything, my menu items, everything is situated around video games. Because there was this game, I don't remember what it was, but it was on the Commodore 64. You just had to type everything. I played it like once or twice as a kid, but it's always been a core memory for me that's like, yes, that is video games. So I found this, which is kind of based off of the Commodore 64, like this whole wallpaper get up. So it's just one of those things too, even here, that brings me very much a whole lot of comfort. And then my gaming PC down there, of course, you've seen it 1,000 times. PlayStation 3 controller here, PlayStation X and B waves here. And then not just that, but my favorite game of all time, Cyberpunk 2077. This is Johnny Silverhand's tattoo. Back here, you see a PlayStation Portal. You see a PSP Go. Who had a PSP Go? I had a PSP Go. And then Miles Morales, because that Spider-Man game, dude, it did something to me. It did something to me. I got all the accessories and all the merch that has ever came out for that. It did something to me, okay? The weird part about making videos that you don't really have a script or bullet points for is they're kind of all over the place. But when they're all over the place, that's when you know that it comes from the heart. That is not just something somebody scripted and just kind of went off on a whim about, or kind of just stated word for word. This whole video has been shot from my heart, shot from, you know, just my thoughts right now. Video games are bringing comfort in a way that I could not even begin to understand. And at this point, looking at the little recording lens here, this video is almost 50 minutes long. Now, of course, I take a lot of pauses and stuff in it, so the edited down version will probably be like 28 to 27 minutes because I do a lot of sitting around when I'm making videos. I get distracted very easy. I did a Clash of Clans battle because my clan war was about to expire and I didn't realize it. So basically what this video sums down towards is that with video games, this is not just a cartridge, this is a memory. And not just is the cartridge a memory, but this is not just a box with a disc. I completely forgot about this. But not just is this just a disc, but like this means something. And really and truly, everything in life means something. But with video games where we spend so much time with it, so much time thinking about it, talking about it, and just waiting for the next game to come out, it really is kind of more than just like a hobby. It's kind of like the staple point of our lives. Our memories are defined by it. Our cohesion points in life are defined by it. The anchor points of core memories in a lot of instances are going to be caused by video games. So at the end of the day, as I get older, not only do older games bring comfort to me, but I'm realizing how much games actually mean to me, and it's kind of an interesting trip to go down. And obviously, you've gone down this trip with me here today. Well, I guess maybe over the last several days if you watched this in a podcast style. And then at the end of the day, you know, we're all going through things. Things are different. You know, people approach problems differently. Video games is one thing that unites everybody. Like, it's also like so many different political viewpoints, so many different avenues of hatred in the world, but everybody can unite through video games. Video games is kind of like that one medium that transcends everything. Therefore, as I age, I'm really starting to realize how important games are. Have you though? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This video has gone on very, very long, so try not to die. And I will see you in the next video.